my LPP.
I'm not done. This isn't your show. It's mine. I run this place. You want out? You gotta go through me.
That what this is?
Deathloop is one hell of a ride. It's Groundhog's Day with guns, and it's the most unique game I've played all year. You play as Colt, a fast-talking, gunslinging guy desperately trying to kill each of the visionaries in a single day and end the loop he's stuck in. It's got a great premise, and while most of the mechanics I've seen before in other games, this specific blend of combat, puzzle solving, and PvP checks all the right boxes. Unlike most sandbox open worlds, Black Reef is divided into 4 different sections over 4 different times of day. None of the sessions are timed, so you can spend as much time in the areas you'd like solving puzzles and exploring. This approach I really liked because it got me familiar with each area better than running around an open world. I became intimate with each of the zone's secrets and what I could expect at different times of the day, and watching my actions affect other areas later on was incredibly satisfying, making me feel clever and closer to my end goal. While there isn't a huge amount of guns, each one feels distinct and powerful in its own right, and many of the rarer weapons has its own special mod, and that's not including the trinkets you add to your gun to further customize your loadout. There's a lot of options, and it definitely caters to whichever playstyle you go with. The combat itself is really fun. The guns feel punchy, your grenades and hack-a-majig get a lot of mileage in each zone. You'll eventually start getting slabs, which are special powers you'll be able to use, from turning invisible to teleportation to physically throwing people around. Each power is unique and also has a variety of upgrades you can collect to make them stronger. It all really helps solidify your loadout and playstyle. You can be stealthy in long range, or you can equip a Havoc slab and go in guns blazing. Easily the best part about the game, though, is Juliana, a rival assassin with one objective: blow your brains out. But what makes her so deadly? More often than not, she'll be controlled by another player. This really adds some spice to your playthrough, and that much needed challenge to the combat. While the AI isn't the smartest in Deathloop, dealing with hordes of bad guys and another cunning player is no walk in the park, but still incredibly exhilarating. This game of cat and mouse is extremely satisfying and makes each run through the day feel like something brand new. Now, even though you're looping through the same day over and over again, the game does feel less like a roguelite and more like a Metroidvania, where information and clues unlock new areas and progress the story, and infusing items and powers with residuum essentially makes you more versatile. It's a tight and well-written narrative that's both interesting and complex, which can be a little bit of a bummer at the end if you weren't reading everything and listening to all the tapes. There's a lot you can miss, and it can definitely lessen the impact of the ending if you're beelining it straight to the end. That said, while the ending didn't blow me away, I thought it was satisfying enough to close the book where they did. The art style and aesthetic of Deathloop is jazzy and unique. Its over-the-top 60s vibe sprinkled with trippy decor adds a wonderful vibrancy to its landscape. Whether I was checking out paintings, graffiti, or brightly colored mansions, there was always something interesting to look at, and it all felt cohesive. The music is another thing Deathloop hits straight out of the park. Its punk jazz vibe is killer, and the fantastic main theme song reminds me of something straight out of a James Bond intro. With synthy selections and jazzalicious combat, Deathloop is just as fun to listen to as it is to play. The audio feedback is great too. Each gun feels appropriately punchy, and every sound effect feels responsive to its corresponding action. All in all, Deathloop is an incredible adventure, with witty dialogue, engaging puzzles and combat, and a solid progression system. It's everything I wanted and expected the game to be. The game did feel a bit too easy after a while, with its less than stellar AI, but I felt, with the deliciously added complication of another player hunting you, this didn't seem to be that deal-breaking. And while I was hoping the ending would feel a bit more conclusive, it still felt appropriately enough for me to look back very fondly on the entire experience. I hope you all enjoyed the review. Don't forget to click that like button and subscribe if you're not already a member. And if you played Deathloop, tell me your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. And until next time, this is Game Ghost. Happy gaming.